So we're ready to go at Red Bull Ring. Race number 3 is underway. Everyone seems to get away cleanly. Violet's to get a good start. So do I. I'm up the inside of Has 91 already. It looks like Mutt's made a good start. There's already a little bit of tappage going on at the back. First corner's always a little bit delicate for that. So everyone's trying to squeeze into one little portion of the track. So let's go on board with me. I'm sort of steaming away in the lead at the minute. Just turn that down. Steaming away in the lead at the minute. Has 91 is currently in second. We've got SHAREx going on the attack against B-Rated. Just slips up the inside nice and gently. Dark Smoker just gives him a little bit of a love tap as he goes through. Now we're going 3 wide now down into turn number 3. This isn't going to end well. One of these guys is going to have to give in. Who's it going to be? We've got Steve Stones, we've got Wilkie, we've got Shearer, we've got CB Gamer getting involved in this one as well. Wilkie wins out, Shearer takes the inside line. Looks like Steve Stones is going to have to concede that one. CB Gamer also goes through. Jeff rounding up the top 10 at the minute. Who gets past Shearer, who just looks to get a little bit on the gravel. Coming through turn number 3. Come to finish off the a little bit of contact there between Electric Steel and Mutt. Mutt, who had that incident at T1, just trying to recover his race. Viala's in the same sort of boat with that, so both of them guys involved in turn 1 incidents. I'm not going to get into any of them was at fault or out, but I don't know. I'm going to watch for that. So my job is to build a gap to my closest rival, my teammate Has 91. Has had a really good pace here, out qualified me just. I was up and qualifying for most of the session, and I think in the last laps he just pipped me, so it was a really good lap by him. SHAREx having a good race as well so far, he's into thirds. Dark Smoker's also up in position, B-Rated losing out on that turn 2 incident, so Dark Smoker's now chasing down SHAREx. Let's just go on board and see how he takes this corner. Dark Smoker's quite was B-Rated gets it wrong again. He gets on the power a little bit too much coming out of turn. B-Rated is not having a good day today. Yeah, so we're just saying how much he didn't enjoy this track. He's a bit marmitey for some. It's not one of our favourites, but I don't mind it. Wilkie's having a good race. Wilkie's running in 5th at the minute. CB's also having a good time out. He's up in 6th in his flip paint Porsche. Steve Stones, middle of the road so far. We know he can do better than 7th. But he's got some fast drivers behind him who are going to want to get through. Jeff and Shearer going at it. So respectful racing between all these guys. They're giving each other plenty of room. There's no door banging going on at this part, so it's all nice and respectful. B-Rated is also trying to recover his race in his newly painted Ginsters wagon. Is he going to look for a move down the inside? He is. That's brave. That's 2 cars in one corner, but he just carries too much speed and fairly slows down to let those guys back through. You know what? I was gonna absolutely scream my nuts off if he made that move stick then. But these guys again going 3 wide into the first turn, which, as we know, doesn't work. 2 isn't going to work, so one of these guys is going to have to concede. Looks like Shearer just backs out. Goes for his exit speed instead. So it's Mutt now to Shearer. B-Rated is just out dragging Jeff slightly. Should get the move done before we go into turn number 2, which is probably the main overtaking spot here. Jeff just gives B-Rated a little bit of a love tap as he goes through. Nothing dangerous. This is allowing Mutt to escape though, so all this battling behind is just letting this guy catch onto the back of Steve Stones and CB Gamer, who themselves are having a little battle going into turn number 3. Not lots of nice clean racing on show so far. Let's just run back up to the front of the pack and see what's going on up there. We'll see if CB throws a move up. Steve Stones just gets rid of his penalty, and that lets Mutt through as well. Probably wise, you know, because Mutt was catching up on these guys, and what he's probably hoping, Steve Stones, is that Mutt can put CB Gamer off and let him get after Wilkie in 5th position. So we'll see how that pans out, because CB does do that, and that's going to let Steve Stones in. CB's got the inside line though, and he takes that corner just right. It gives, to be fair, it gives tons of room. There's no question that was clean. Good racing by them 2 guys. Steve Stones running a new livery this week. which I've got to say is bloody well put together, whoever did that. As Jeff and Viali go at it at the back. So Viali just backs out of that one. Jeff takes the corner. Viali's probably wise to know that it's more of a chance to get past going into turn 2, although Jeff's taking the defensive line. Let's just jump on board with Viali and see how this pans out for him. He's going to have to outbrake him or go for the cutback, so he can brake a little bit earlier or later. So he goes through it. Now he really needs to hit this apex. He just misses just to get the cutback, which he doesn't do in this, but he does get a better drive out. The 4-wheel drive system on that GTR just enables him to get on the power that little bit earlier. So he's going to have the run now, coming into turn number 3, but he's not going to have it done just in time. The power of that Sirocco just gets the job done for Jeff, although he does run it a little bit deep, and Viali does manage to cut back, but the power of that Sirocco, man, it's something else. Electric Steel, who's running the Audi TT for Team Texaco, going through turn number 3. So we'll run back up to the front then, since we'll give everyone a little bit of coverage now, and then we'll jump forward. So I've at this point managed to build a couple of seconds gap. I think at this point I'm at 2-3 seconds, nothing epic. Hazzy's sort of following me through, and we are breaking away from the guys behind because they're all sort of fighting. So Sayrex is constantly having to think about Dark Smoker in his mirrors. Dark Smoker hasn't necessarily got anyone behind him, but he's still focusing on another car. Wilkie's got Mutt coming up behind him to worry about, and he knows Mutt's got pace. So Wilkie's just trying to tag onto the back of the battle that's going on up ahead. So Mutt, who is carrying a bit of a penalty, track cut penalties are just ridiculously common here. You get them for farting near a white line. I think you just get half a second penalty for doing literally nothing. As the battle for 8th is hotting up, B-Rate has just obviously made his way through, so he's going to be chasing after Steve Stones now, is B-Rate. He's normally one of the guys that's running up near the top, so I'd probably expect to see him close to the top at the very least for this one. He's not had a great few first laps, so you know, the field spread's a bit high now. Probably hasn't, you know, first and second we're gone, but third is definitely on if he can put a good race together. CB and Shearer. Shearer getting himself a lot about lovely cutback move by Shearer there. That was, in fact, let me just go and have another little look back on that. So we'll go on board with Shearer. So he's obviously on the outside. Just sort of lets CB run it outside, just cuts it back beautifully and gets that move done. Lovely overtake, doesn't it? It's not an overtake because he ain't got the move done yet, that's why. I'm going to say that would be an overtake of the week, but he didn't actually overtake him, so it'd be attempted overtake of the week, I think. CB's got his indicator on, don't know why. Mind games, or is he aiming to drive into Tesco a little further on down the track? I don't really know because he's turned it off now. So what we'll do, we'll skip forward a little bit. We'll just see what else is going on a little bit later on. So we don't have to go far to find a bit more action. So we've got B-Rated fighting his way back through the pack now, and he's going to go on the attack against Steve Stones. So Steve's a guy we know has got pace, but the Porsche is probably the better car for the job right now. The BMW is probably a little bit twitchy coming out of corners. So Phil will be conscious of that and will want to get the power down quicker because he can probably get a better acceleration. So we'll just watch how this unfolds. Steve's defending really well at this minute in time. He's not really having to go defensive because Phil isn't there yet. But once he is, we'll see how that affects him. Phil loves a move down into the second to last corner, so we'll see if that's what he goes for. Needs a really good exit out of here to get that done. He's obviously in the slipstream, which isn't that powerful in these cars, but it's certainly enough to get you within range. He doesn't look within range at the minute, so doesn't go for the move. Last corner isn't really an overtaking spot. You'd have to be a bit brave to make a move work through there. Or exceptionally talented. Turn 1 is very tight, but you can make moves there if necessary. It's sometimes just worth hanging on for turn 2. B-Rate is going to jump on the brakes a bit later, but backs out though. Let's Steve take the corner unharmed. So looking back from Steve's car, then this is the longest run up on the circuit, so this is if you're going to get slipstream, you're going to get it here. Phil looks like he could have gone for a lunge there, but probably decided against it. But look at the ground that Porsche makes up there, look at that. I know it's a drag race. German versus German. Pie versus alcohol. Who's going to win? And Pie's win for this time. Alcohol's slumped in its seat. And Meat and Potato is going to drive off into the distance. So let's see what else unfolds. Jumping forward a little bit, we're looking now currently at the battle for third, fourth, fifth, well third's starting to get away. But Mutt, who you will remember went off turn 1, lap 1, has been fighting his way through the pack for the last sort of 15 minutes. He's finally made his way back up to Dark Smoker. Dark Smoker, who was up until this point fiercely attacking SHAREfactory, is now going to have to go on the defensive against a very, very, very racy Mutt 36. Dark Smoker just gets that corner a little bit wrong. That's going to give Mutt the space to make that move work in the last turn. You can do it if you've got a significant speed advantage and the other guy gives you room, but other than that, you've kind of lost out. So that does put Dark Smoker down to 5th. Someone who's having a very good race so far, in my opinion, considering how much he despises this track. It is akin to me doing well at Nordschleife. So well done to him so far. If he can hang on to the coattails of Mutt for a little bit and just get him to drag him along, and hopefully he holds up SHAREfactory. We can hope. He has got B rated coming back, and B rated again like Mutt. Very fast guy. He certainly has the ability to make moves and finish high in races, but you know, you can tell visually the gap's quite big, so he's got 15 minutes to close it. And we know he can, so we'll just see how that one pans out. Wilkie's in 7th at the minute. He's doing quite well as our Wilkie. Seems to be getting more of a handle on that car. Stone's down in 8th, with Shearer and CB Gamers still battling for 9th place. These guys are not giving up. Got Viali recovering. He's in 11th at this minute in time. Jeff in 12th. Not sure quite what happened to Jeff. I will be honest, I do think he had an off. Not too sure. And then Electric Steel in the Audi. And he's coming up to turn number 2. So back at the front then. I'm approaching turn 2 as well. It's trying to lap consistently, really. I'm not pushing the car too much because I know this is a track you can make mistakes on very easily. You'll see I'm not using all the track. I'm actually taking it relatively steady. I'm not racing as if it's qualifying like I sometimes do. Seems to be running it pretty similar, to be honest. Doesn't appear to be going absolutely crazy. And then you got this battle for third that is still raging. So we'll catch up with the action in a few laps time, and we'll see how everyone's getting on. So we jump on board with Viali on the 11th lap. The reason I'm on board with him is because he's got a really good view of the battle up ahead. So we've said earlier on in the video that CB Gamer and Shearer are seemingly tied at the hip. They don't like to be separated, and as so they drive with a little bit of rope tied to each other's doors, which means they can never drive too far away from one another. So really good to see CB gets that move done on the outside of all places. Shearing the Mustang, which is it's not a strange choice because I like the Mustang. I think I've commented before, but he's got to be at a disadvantage against the Porsche, especially around a track like Red Bull Ring. So he's doing well to keep up with a Porsche. I'll give him that. This is letting Viali close in, as you can see. He's right on the back of this now. Viali in the GTR, which is a quick car, and you'll just see just how clean the battling is. To be fair, they're all giving each other space. They're able to anticipate when moves are being made, probably driving with radar just to keep an eye on things, and generally fighting hard but fair. And you can't ask for more than that. CB Gamer gives him room to get back on track. Shearer's obviously on the outside coming into turn 1, which is the weaker line to have taken. But he's going to try and make the move stick on the outside anyway, and that is a bloody good overtake by Shearer. I think I said the other lap that he had a good contender for oversight, and this one's an equally good shout. So round the outside, turn number 1 at Red Bull Ring, where it's undulating to hell, and in a heavy Mustang that's quite an impressive move to make, so well done for that. Again, we'll just have a quick flick through. So we've still got Wilkie in 7th, be rated in 6th, is not really making a ton of room on the guys up ahead. He's sort of hoping that one of these guys will fall off and make a mistake. Dark Smoker was lapping at a decent pace around here. Then you got SHAREfactory, who is currently grasping onto 3rd, but Mutt is now taking lumps of time out of him. So if Mutt finishes in 3rd, it'll be Michelin Team 1, 2, 3. If me and Haz take 1st and 2nd as well. So a quick flick through the pack, just have a look at how everyone's getting on. CB Gamer and Shearer have separated a little bit. I think they'll be quite upset about that. Shearer's decided he quite likes the back end of that GTR instead, and is clinging to it like a 5-year-old to the comfort blanket. Steve Stones is giving Wilkie a bit of a chase. Both guys again just lapping quite consistently as well. We'll see what happens in a couple of laps time, guys. Flat 13 then, next notable moment is the battle for 3rd, which is about to reach a bit of a conclusion. So SHAREfactory doesn't go defensive into turn 1, he should have done for me. Mutt is then able to take the inside line and get the move done up the inside, and then resume the racing line almost immediately after. Mutt then takes the defensive line, meaning SHAREfactory is really going to have his work cut out to get that position back, because outside of turn 2 is not an easy move to make. It's a hard enough corner as it is, but Mutt's going to have a narrower line, so he's just unfortunately just makes a bit of a mistake coming around that corner. That's going to cost him a ton of time. That might give Dark Smoker a bit of relief though, because he might be able to catch up. But all while he's catching up, B-rated has in the last couple of laps taken a chunk of time out of him, and resident Pie Man is now trying to catch the hungry caterpillar. So let's catch up with the action in a couple of laps time, see if Mutt can climb onto the back of me and Haz up ahead. He's going to have his work cut out, because me and Haz are a little bit, you know, we've been racing in thin air basically for the last couple of laps, so we're perfectly able to get away from the pack. And let's see how things pan out in the next 10 minutes or so. So no major changes so far, just thought I'd give you a bit of a ride on board at Red Bull Ring. So the first turn then, you just want to try and clip the apex with your right hand wheels, but not too much, because then it'll send you flying into the barriers. Your line up here just sort of depends on whether you've got anyone chomping at your backside or not. You can pretty much straight line it if you've not. If you have, then you want to think about a slipstream. You brake just at that light board, and then I go into 1st. It just rotates this Porsche a little bit better at that corner. Some it spins it off, but at that corner it seemed to help. So as you'll see, I took a really tight line and was able to get on the power quite nicely. Braking point for this corner was a little bit weird, so you sort of want to brake between the cones and the marshal's post about here, and then try and get your 2 wheels on the green stuff going round. Run the power out as quickly as you can. The braking zone here is quite hard to spot, especially if you're in traffic, so you're looking for that 100 board, I think it was, or a 50 board. It just hangs over the track, brake just after it. A little dab of the brakes here, and a slap down in gears if you feel it necessary, and then just on the power as soon as possible. Run under the bridge and look out for the marshal's post on the left, and you want to be braking just before it. And then again you want to try and hook your wheels on that curb, and then you can run 2 wheels out, and then again wheels on the curb, run 2 wheels out. Any more than that and you tend to pick up about 10 years worth of penalties. So that's not a particularly fast lap of Red Bull Ring. I was lapping in a low 131s for a lot of it when I was doing it properly. But we're now a couple of minutes away from the end of the race, so we might as well just have a little bit of a run through and finish this one off. So currently I'm leading away in 1st position. which means in the next race at Catalonia I'm going to be starting at the back if this carries on. Has 91 has probably gone near a white line somewhere. He's got a year's worth of penalties for his trouble. Mutt has escaped the clutches of SHAREfactory and probably too far away from second place, but a fantastic recovery drive from Mutt. I think we'll all agree. If you're looking at his lap times, very consistent and fast. SHAREfactory, as we look at this, like, I've missed something here, so let's have a look at that. Let's go back to this. So we'll come back to you, SHAREfactory. So B rated right on the back of Dark Smoke. He looks to have got a bad exit off that final turn. So B rated chooses not to go here, but what he's doing is he's widening the track for himself so he can take a tighter line and carry more speed. So by doing so, look at the run he's got on him now. So he's not far off getting the move done before the turn. So, but Dark Smoker is going to make him go the long way around. I think Dark Smoker chooses at that point to burn off his penalty instead of fighting that move. And that's been rated up to 5th from at one point near the back after a bit of a bad start. So a good recovery drive from B rated, and him and Mutt have been fantastically well driven today. And we've got SHAREfactory 4th. Sorry, I forgot, I literally saw something in the background when I was talking about you and vanished. Had a good consistent race. No real dramas, to be fair, from SHAREfactory. It's just lapped relatively smoothly. B rated, we've just mentioned, fantastic recovery from B rated. You can't be disappointed with that one at all, to be honest. Dark Smoker, considering he hates the track, he's got to walk away from this relatively happy at how he's performed. Wilkie now defending to Viali. Let's see if he can hold on to this place, because by the time he hits the finish line his race should be over, because we've only got like 15 seconds left. So Viali's going on the attack. He's chosen not to go for it, instead has got a little bit of a penalty to get rid of, so that's Wilkie's saving grace. We've got 5 seconds to go before the time runs out. Do they have to go through? And for some reason the game's making them do another lap. Shearer and CB Gamer coming through. Shearer's won out in that battle in the end, but great racing from those guys. Steve Stone's in 11th, just seemed to go backwards, Steve Stone's, to be honest. JDM Jeff in 12th. He's coming around to finish off his laps, and I'm coming up to the back of him. So yeah, I was quite happy with this one. Yeah, it got my night off to a good start. Unfortunately the next video covers something less than pleasing, but we stay tuned to find out what that is. But yeah, third win in a row, race number 3 of season 9. Really happy with how I've managed to do that, to be honest. Has 91's got to be pleased with his as well. I know he qualified pole, and he'll probably be disappointed he didn't finish first, but he still had a really good race. Lapped really well. Mutt, one of my drivers of the day. Brilliant recovery drive. SHAREfactory, clean, consistent, no issues. B rated, again, fantastic recovery. Dark Smoker's done really well, considering he despises this place. Wilkie and Viali are still knocking each other's teeth out. Viali's really close to making a move, just runs it wide on exit. Is he going to get the move done, or is he going to get a penalty for daring to go near it? It doesn't, but well done. So that's race 3 of season 9 covered for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the coverage and the bants and all that jazzmatazz. As is becoming the tradition, and will be the tradition until the event is completed. Now I'm going to talk to you about Kika. So Kika is something that is becoming exceptionally more in the limelight. It's certainly in the hearts and minds of everyone within the clubs that are participating in it. For those who don't know what Kika is, there's a few badges on my car that hint at like the hands at the front there that you see, and the logos on the side and the front and the rear. Dark Smoker's car runs a massive orange bloody sticker on the side of it for it as well. You know, it's just all the guys are starting to really ramp up with it now. So we are taking part in a charity race, which is on the 3rd of August. I think it's 6 hours at Le Mans. I think it's in GT3 cars, off the top of my head. Pretty sure it is. There's 4 leagues taking part in it in total. So there's us at MRC. There is Next Gen Racing. And then there's 2 Dutch sim racing groups as well. We all come together in the aim of raising money for Kika, which is a Dutch children's charity, focusing on the rehabilitation research of kids with cancer, which I'll say it every time, and I'll keep saying it, is an abysmal thing to even have to say, that kids get cancer, but they do. So yeah, I guess the reason why I talk about this at the end is I just wanted to give the guys all your support. There's a few links in the description below that I'd love you to check out. Please go and subscribe to Dark Smoker's channel, because he's going to be one of the guys doing commentary along with Potter McPot for the MRC League. I don't know what my entry in is it yet, whether I'll be racing or commentating. I've been hinted at commentating for Next Gen Racing. More than happy to, not bothered, whatever. I'll literally do whatever the guys need me to do in terms of help and support. But yeah, go and check everything out. Throw a donation over to Kika if you've got any spare monies this month. And if you are into your sim racing, consider joining up as well. It's a pay to race, so you pay your €5 and you get an entry. You will then drive for 6 hours around Le Mans. We don't know what format it's taking yet, whether it's going to be split into stints or not. We're not too sure. We're still working all that out, because obviously to do anything more than an hour on PD servers will crush them into oblivion, so it's probably just not even worth doing. We'll probably just do stints. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to have a look at race number 2 shortly. I'll probably not get that done until potentially Thursday, so we'll see. I'm on earlys this week at work, and I've got other stuff going on, so it's not been easy to get this recorded, but we'll see. Hope you've enjoyed it. Check out Mature Racing Club on Facebook. If you like the sort of racing you see, and you've got a copy of GT Sport and you're fed up of getting banged about in the dailies, come join us. It's a barrel of laughs, and you're guaranteed to get called a dickhead on one of Dark Smoker's streams, which is always worth doing. And yeah, we'll go from there. So thanks guys, thanks for checking it out. Catch you later. Bye 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 bye.